Today, you're the detective. Investigators eventually figured out who was responsible. But here's the question. Would you have seen the clues they saw? Could you solve this case before they did? December 24th, 2002. Christmas Eve. A pregnant woman disappears. Her name is Lacey Peterson. She's 27 years old, 8 months pregnant. No screams, no signs of a struggle, no eyewitnesses, nothing. According to her husband, Scott Peterson, he left home around 9:30 that morning. His destination? Berkeley Marina, about 90 miles away. He says Lacey stayed home. She planned to do some cleaning, watch TV, and later take their dog, Mackenzie, for a walk. Simple, normal, nothing unusual. But then, something happens. Around 10:18 that morning, a neighbor spots Mackenzie wandering outside alone. No Lacey, just the dog. The neighbor assumes he got loose, so she returns him to the Petersons' yard and leaves. End of story. Or so it seemed, because if Lacey planned to walk Mackenzie later, why was he already outside? Did he escape on his own? Did Lacey return home and then disappear? Or did something happen before that walk ever began? Nobody knew, but investigators wrote it down, because sometimes the smallest clue becomes the biggest one later, and the next clue would make this mystery even stranger. Directly across the street from the Peterson home, another family left their house around 10:30 that morning. Before they left, neighbors reported seeing suspicious people and a van near the property. Later that evening, the family returned home. Their house had been burglarized. Now investigators had a new question. Did Lacey see something she wasn't supposed to see? Did she witness the burglary? And if she did, what happened next? That same evening, Scott Peterson returned home. The house was quiet. Lacey was gone. Her purse was still inside. Her wallet was still inside. Her keys were still inside. Almost everything she normally carried was still sitting in the house. Phone calls started. Family members rushed over. Searches began. And before long, Lacey Peterson was officially reported missing. At first, the burglary seemed like a possible answer, but the next clue would make things much more complicated. 3 days later, investigators searched a warehouse connected to Scott. Inside, they found signs of recent concrete work, concrete dust, tools, and evidence suggesting several concrete molds may have been made there. Let's pause for a second. Here's what we know so far. A pregnant woman disappears. The family dog is found wandering alone. A burglary happens nearby the same day, and investigators find unusual concrete work connected to her husband. Who would you be looking at right now? Because the next clues would completely change the direction of the case. A witness reported seeing a suspicious man near the neighborhood that morning, but the description wasn't clear. Was he connected to the burglary? Was he connected to Lacey's disappearance? Or was it nothing at all? Then another discovery was made. On December 25th, less than a mile from the Peterson home, investigators found a burned van. Inside was a mattress covered in what appeared to be blood. For a moment, it looked huge. Could this be connected to Lacey? Could this be the vehicle used to abduct her? The discovery made headlines. But before investigators could answer those questions, another clue appeared. Search teams brought in a specially trained tracking dog. The dog followed Lacey's scent, and eventually, it led investigators to Berkeley Marina, the exact place Scott said he spent Christmas Eve fishing. The scent trail ended near the water. Interesting, but still not enough. Then investigators searched Scott's boat and found a single hair. Testing later showed it was consistent with Lacey's hair. Now think about that. According to investigators, there was no known reason for Lacey to have ever been inside that boat. Of course, hair can transfer in innocent ways. Scott was her husband. That alone didn't prove anything, but it added another question, and another clue, and another reason for investigators to keep digging. At this point, who's on your suspect list? The burglars, an unknown stranger, or Scott Peterson? Think about your answer, because now we're moving into the part of the case that changed everything. One theory was that burglars encountered Lacey during a break-in, panicked, kidnapped her, and later killed her. Another theory suggested a stranger had been watching her for days, waiting for the right moment. Both theories sounded possible, but then investigators started eliminating them one by one. the blood found in the burned van. It wasn't Lacey's. And there was another problem. If a complete stranger had taken Lacey in broad daylight, why wasn't there any sign of a struggle? Why didn't anyone hear anything? The mystery remained unsolved until December 30th, 6 days after Lacey disappeared. A woman called police. Her name was Amber Frey, and what she told investigators changed the entire case. Amber said she had been dating Scott Peterson. Investigators assumed she knew he was married. She didn't. According to Amber, Scott told her he was single, no wife, no family, no baby on the way. Then she revealed something even more disturbing, a conversation from December 9th, 2 weeks before Lacey disappeared. Scott allegedly told her his wife was dead, and that this would be his first Christmas without her. Investigators immediately checked the date. December 9th, Lacey was still alive, still preparing for Christmas, still expecting her baby. That statement would become one of the most important details in the entire case. But the biggest reveal was still coming. Months passed. Then April 2003 arrived, and with it, a heartbreaking discovery. Human remains were found along the shoreline of San Francisco Bay. First, the remains of a baby. Then, the remains of a woman. DNA testing confirmed investigators' worst fear. They were Connor Peterson and Lacey Peterson. The entire country was shocked, but detectives noticed something else immediately: the location. The remains were found near the same bay where Scott said he had been fishing on Christmas Eve. The place that once supported his story now seemed to point directly back at him. Just days later, Scott Peterson was arrested near San Diego. Investigators noticed several unusual things. His appearance had changed. He was carrying a large amount of cash, multiple cell phones, camping gear. To investigators, it looked like someone preparing to disappear. The trial followed. There was no confession, no eyewitness, no murder weapon, no video showing what happened. Everything depended on the clues. The affair, the strange statement to Amber, the concrete work, the boat, the hair, the location where the remains were found. And, one by one, those clues formed a picture the jury couldn't ignore. But what was the single most powerful piece of evidence? Most people guess wrong. It wasn't the boat, it wasn't the bay, it wasn't the dog, and it wasn't even the remains. It was one sentence, a sentence spoken weeks before Lacey disappeared. "This will be my first Christmas without my wife." Because when those words were spoken, Lacey Peterson was still alive. On November 12, 2004, Scott Peterson was found guilty of murdering Lacey Peterson and their unborn son Connor. More than 2 decades later, people still debate the case. But for investigators, that one statement changed everything. Now tell me, did you solve the case before the detectives did? Or did one clue change your mind completely?